Hey everybody, this is Schmo's No Intern RB3, and you are watching the Cinescape Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Cinescape Podcast, where we're changing the landscape of movie and TV news and reviews. Happy 2017, all you guys. This is our first show of the new year. We're very excited to be back with you. I am your host, Sean Harrigan, as always, with my great friend, Bill Tozzi. Bill, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year to you.
And you as well.
Thank you.
And we're also very lucky to have the head promoter of Nostalgia Fest 2017 in our studio.
Yes.
His name is Eric Cohen. Eric, thank you for coming in today.
Welcome.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
So we're going to have Eric along with us today. We're also going to get a little bit of his background, what he's been up to, and he's going to tell us about the event coming up in April of this year. It's very, very exciting. New year, a fresh start. We're getting away from all the downer moments of 2016.
Dude, 2016 really blew it, man, with the celebrities that we lost, you know? Just so many people.
It was just, as you guys were watching our show, every single week for the last couple of weeks that we were doing them, this person died, and it went out with a bang again with our last week of the year. So we're gonna get into all of that stuff, but first we want to talk a little bit with Eric about just who he is and why he is here and what we're going to be doing with him in April. So Eric, take it away.
So, the original idea for Nostalgia Fest came probably when I was down in New Orleans. I used to own a restaurant on Bourbon Street, and I got into dealing with the different actors and different movies because down there in New Orleans, they're shooting a ton of movies all the time.
Yeah.
So I got my little taste of dealing with the actors and being born in the 80s, born 1980. I loved every 80s movies. I watched them all, TV shows, you name it. In the 90s, that was my time.
Yeah, it's our time, man.
Exactly, definitely. So that's kind of where the combination of the two together, dealing with the movie business as well as being from that time. I mean, there's not a person when you say like an 80s or 90s movie or show that people are like, I love that.
Yeah.
Or whenever it comes on, I'm watching it.
Right.
So that's kind of where the idea came from. No one really caters to the 80s and 90s as far as different cons out there. So it's a need.
It is. Yeah, and I think you hold a good point there because we haven't taken off with this decade of cons yet, and so that because there isn't much competition out there, you're leaving yourself wide open to really drive the the force there behind such an event. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and definitely. I mean, Hollywood has embraced the 80s and 90s with doing remakes of different movies coming out.
How do you feel about that? Because we being a product of those generations, and as we're talking here as fans, when you see certain things from like we just saw Ghostbusters this past year.
Horrible.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, it takes away from that magic, that charm that you grew up with. If
it's not broken, why fix it?
That's
my thought behind a lot of when it comes to 80s and 90s movies. I mean, why mess a good thing? It first started I think with like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
With a whole different thought process behind it.
Right.
Why would you touch something like that?
Right.
It's for example.
Like because we were looking and we saw that you have William Zabka on the dais there, and I'm like, this is a guy who his career was built upon being a bully.
Yes.
Now what do we have in 2017 is all these anti-bullying campaigns. What does that do for this guy's career? Like that's like the kind of mindset I kind of want to just ask him a little bit. Be like, dude, you kind of made me grow up to not be a pussy a little bit because I'd watch your movies and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to get beat up by Billy Zabka, because he's a black belt. And, so you kind of want to get into the mindset of the actor a little bit and be like, hey, here we are 30 years later. And, what's going through your mind when you played a bully and, you picked on Rodney Dangerfield's son in Back to School?
I love that movie. Great movie.
Oh, yeah, because you wanted to, try and hook up with Terry Farrell, and which she is, very beautiful, by the way.
How tall was she, by the way? She was up there.
He was short. He was probably like 5'5", 5'6", 5'7".
I'm 5'6", 5'7", by the way, in case you're wondering.
Because I'm like 5'7", 5'8". So, and I mean that I forget the guy that played his son, but he was he was also in Christine, the Stephen
Billie
King
Jean.
movie. Yeah,
I think he was.
And
in
I mean,
that
the other actors that he was around, everyone was always taller than him, and she had to be close to like 6 feet because
short guy's dream. Tall
Yeah,
woman.
Amazon woman.
yeah, because I used to watch Star Trek, as a kid. So she was on Deep Space Nine, and she was always right there with Captain Sisko, and he was, he's Avery Brooks, tall. Black guy, he's like at least 6'2", and I mean, if you watch them on screen, they're always like neck and neck. So yeah, she had to be pretty tall. But getting back to the point here is that these 80s and 90s cons are taking over, and you're the life force behind it right now. So
absolutely. So definitely, what the idea came up with. I've been to many different cons.
Yeah,
and you go to a con, you get some autographs, see some vendors. And then you go about your business.
right.
I've been to beer and wine festivals. You get your drinks. There's nothing really to do anything afterwards.
No substance.
Exactly. You go to food truck festivals. There's nothing, get something to eat. Just walking around doing nothing. I said, why not put them all together?
Yeah.
That's what I did. So I said, everyone likes to drink. And when you drink, you need to get food in your belly.
Absolutely.
And you still have a little buzz going on.
Speak to me, brother.
And then
Preach.
And then afterwards, guess what? Buy some items. And why not on top of it?
Yeah, make some bad decisions.
Exactly. That's what life's all about.
Honey, I spent $500 at Nostalgia Fest this weekend.
Exactly. Well, Nostalgia Fest brings the husbands and wives together.
It does.
For example, you go to a beer. Hey, I'm going to a con. The wife's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there.
Right.
I don't want to be around those people or whatever. But I'm like, there's nothing wrong with cons. They're
Right,
great.
because if I go to Nostalgia Fest and I see Vanessa Angel, and I
Tia
get
Carrera.
I immediately get thrown back into my heyday, and I start getting a little tingly inside. You know that tingly feeling, and then I'm like, honey, we gotta go. We gotta get home. I gotta make love. That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing.
Exactly. So when it came up with the idea, was first I wanted to get the right people from the 80s and 90s.
Absolutely.
So called around different people. Some people were crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Who were some of the crazy ones that you ran into?
James Vanderbeek.
Really?
How much? It was just ballpark. Just to have a conversation, it had to be mid six figures.
Wow.
Somewhere around there, just to kind of in the ballpark, just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're guaranteeing this, otherwise, Pam Anderson's people. The problem is a lot of these.
Well, you got to probably pay to forget she has Hep C.
Oh,
Well,
right.
that's a cherry on top of the sundae, I guess, for some people, but not for me. But I made an offer, and that's per hour, right? I said, no, that's for like the whole weekend. Came close to some other actors. Came real close to Michael Richards. I know he's had some.
That would have been
past.
awesome.
We're gonna work on that, and it was close. Rick Moranis was real close.
Oh, Rick Moranis, that would have been a good
He's
one.
so he was. It's kind of the first time having an event, people were like skeptical a little bit. So it's kind of once we get past the first year and
Right.
the success it will be, the next it's gonna get better and better.
Yeah.
It's one thing, but you gotta crawl before you walk.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of when I came up with Gary Busey,
Yeah.
I was like,
How did that conversation go? Because when you talk about some of the crazy conversations, that's got to be one of the most bizarre ones you could have.
Well, it's getting to sometimes they have different agents.
Yeah.
A lot of these actors have different agents represent them. So it's getting to the right one who makes the decisions.
Okay.
I got his agent on the phone. I said, first question, how crazy is he today? He started off, he had an accident back in the 80s. I go, I understand that. He's like, well, if you bring me along, I'll keep him in check. I said, how about this? I'll bring you and his son. I like a little, protection.
Right.
Make
There you
everything's
go.
good. So I said, him and Jake and Gary was like, because everyone, you say Gary's name, everyone
Yeah.
just, your reaction
You just
exactly.
you know the teeth.
Exactly, exactly.
'Cause you see Jake Busey and you're just like, ah.
Right. And it best is that commercial. What was that? For the was it Amazon or something or one of those products he was selling? It's like unbelievable. The outtakes from that, like he's talking like a blowfish. You know, just he's screaming out in the middle of like a beach by himself. So that's, you know, it's drawing the right people. Like when's anyone had a chance to see Gary Busey?
Yeah.
Besides on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to just want to say, hey, take a picture, get an autograph just to see him. Because guess what? You in this area, you're never going to get a
Right.
chance again like that.
Do you think the accident that that he was involved with might have been in Predator 2 when he was sliced in half and then they put him back
Ooh,
together?
that's a good question.
You know, I don't know. I'm just detracting here, but I'm sorry.
Well, at Nostalgia Fest, we'll be able to ask that question to him directly and
Yeah.
find out. You know?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we have some questions for you. The main one is, since we are going to be in attendance, who can you get for us to actually sit down with to interview? We're going to put you on the spot right now because this is a burning question for Bill and I.
I got a great guy, Ogre.
Oh,
Ogre is what you saw in the movies.
okay.
I met him at another con. We did some talk because we
Donald Gibb.
Yep, Donald Gibb is awesome. He just chill kind of guy. Like he's at another con, and I was talking to him, not even wearing sandals. He's like just walking around barefoot. He's like, yo, Eric, just do me a favor. Yours. I just want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with the whole business side of it.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't want to deal with that. Telling people because he's done some cons where people have not done it correctly.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, people are like, I thought it was free. Well, it costs. Yeah, everyone's time costs something, and
Right.
he's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And he felt bad. Some little girl came from someplace, and it was like in Iowa or something like that. And he's saying she came up, she wanted an autograph, but I couldn't give her one because the promoter was there, and I felt bad. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
It's like, just give me a handler. Let me deal with the people. Be who I am. It's
Right.
like, Donald, that's all I want from you. So he's awesome.
That's cool.
I can guarantee you, Donald. Going through the list.
That would be great actually because we've heard so many stories from the set of Bloodsport about how Van Damme was just always in a coke fueled rage. And stuff like that. So to hear him kind of testify and then hear how he broke his leg fictitiously in Bloodsport would be great. But
and I could probably tell you, I could talk to Billy Zapka.
Okay.
He's pretty down with everything.
Yeah.
Like for example, with different Instagram tweets, like he's retweeting it out, putting it out there.
And who on your day is like are like some of the cool people that like obviously some people might feel a certain way, like that entitlement, like, hey, yeah, I am a childhood star of the 80s and 90s, and I want you to treat me that way. And then you have some people that are just like humble to the fact that they were in the Hollywood business for for a period of time, and they still get to have some relevancy and still get to interact with fans.
So I would say I picked people who are going to
Yeah.
be interactive.
Yeah.
I didn't go for people that are going to be stuck up in any which way.
Right.
That's not how I want everyone to come to Nostalgia Fest and have a great time.
Absolutely.
Be like, oh my God, I can't believe this person sat and talked to me and had to enjoy the opportunity to meet them and everything.
Right.
So that's that's kind of different where everyone's there for a reason.
Right.
The fans are coming because they want to get the autographs, get the pictures. People are there because they're being paid to be there. But it's not a matter of the money. It's just a matter of the experience.
Right.
And that's what Nostalgia Fest is always going to be about.
Awesome.
So it's something. So all of them, trust me, I'm hands on. So if I see
Yeah.
something's not going right, I'm on top of it. I mean, just in part of the negotiations, I negotiate with everyone that's going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's like, okay, like James Hong, he wanted to make sure he had a mini fridge. That was his big thing. It's like,
Low Pan wants a mini fridge.
exactly. He's like, I must have mini fridge. I go, okay. I think all hotel rooms come with them, but I'll make sure it's extra cold.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that, so that's the kind of thing. But, some great people. I mean, I got, Gade Watanabe.
Yeah.
What's happening? Hot stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Everyone remembers that. Like, it's just moments from that time
Shut
period.
up, Mr. Button.
So it's just getting back to that time period, that good feeling that
Right.
he had back in that growing up. And besides the actors are going to be there, we have some cartoonists.
Yeah. I saw that. We got some people that did some comic book work, Simpsons work.
So, and you'll be able to get drawn as a Simpson character.
Really?
Ah, nice.
That's awesome.
So Phil Ortiz will sit you down, draw you as a Simpson character, get to take that
Cool.
home, put it on the wall,
Yeah.
put some smiles on people's
Now I
faces.
saw you got some wrestlers on there too. Is that list going to be expanding at all?
We're gonna probably keep it to maybe one or two more names out of
Okay.
it. But right now it's probably pretty solid.
Okay.
Greg the Hammer,
Yeah.
cool guy. Guys, who can forget Greg the Hammer?
Right.
Figure four, everyone loved
Yeah.
it. And we're working on possibility of actually, you can actually get a figure four lock put on you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Like I'm doing interactive things. Like for example, with Zapka and Cove, I'm waiting to hear back from their agent. But so an idea I came up with the photo op is they're in their geese in the background, green screen, where you're Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah.
And you're in your own gi. And you take a picture.
What if we did geese and part of our interview was like we were these casted out kung fu kids, right, from the 80s. Like, hey,
I'm listening.
we we got thrown out of the Takaguru dojo, and he's just happened to be having his own thing going on, and we're like what do we need to do to become like what?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
I think we're gonna have to sit down and have a brainstorming session later.
Exactly.
I'm totally thinking bowl cuts for this. We could totally get into this.
That's actually was one of my things. I was over here thinking. Sorry to interrupt, but because
I always like doing skits. So go ahead.
At every con,
yeah,
you have the specific to that con,
right?
The cosplayers,
right? Yeah.
So I'm wondering what kind of cosplayers are going to be at this con. Like just dressed up as all different kind of 80s.
Yeah, do you have something for the cosplayers? Is there going to be like a costume event?
Yeah, there's going to be different.
Like a can of Aquanet to give out.
Travel size Aquanet will be given out at the door.
Exactly. I think some people are going to have to dust off some clothes.
Yeah.
Get back to the in the closets deep in there. Pull
Right.
it out, make it happen. But yeah, it's all any 80s, 90s themes we're all about.
Well, let me ask you, when you've gone to any 80s or 90s parties in the past, what is your get up that you wear? Like everybody, I feel like has a go-to. Some people go with the Don Johnson look. Other
Bill's
people
got his Bernie Lomax look.
I got my Bernie Lomax look. You know what I mean?
Mike Tyson.
Okay.
I would get cutoffs, make it happen.
You wear the gloves too?
Once in a while, but
because that's tough. You can't hold any beers then.
Yeah, but
you got to cut holes in the top like Hulk hands.
Yeah, you're committed to just kicking ass all night.
That's fine. I was down with it. I mean, Mike Tyson's the best. I mean, biting the ears a little
children.
Rough. Exactly. But that's my go-to.
I broke my back. Did you ever see that clip?
That clip.
Did you ever see that clip?
I don't recall that one. Actually.
Mike, can you pull that up on the screen? It's Mike Tyson broke my back.
I don't know that.
You never seen that?
Oh my god, it's hysterical.
So as you're looking it up, I'll give the preface here. So Mike Tyson, I forget who he was fighting, but he gets into a fight, he loses, and afterwards the sports commentator is interviewing him in the ring, and he's like, Mike, you just lost. Like, what happened out there? And he's plainly just like, well, I broke my back earlier. He's like, and then it's just, you broke your back. Well, yeah. And then I don't want to give away the one-liners after that because it really is a one-liner. You got it queued up.
I can't have the audio played through this. It won't go through here.
Can I play it through mine?
If you got the aux cord over there.
That's the aux cord,
Is there
Bill.
an aux cord?
Is this the aux cord right here?
It should be. I just had an idea for Nosfest.
I
just had an idea because I was thinking, what if we brought, for your guys, the show, and me, guys who were born in the 80s, some of our 80s or early 90s photos of like us wearing like I used to wear like Skids or Z Cavaricis, and if we had like photos of us from the 80s that we might not be too proud of, and had like a corkboard to put them all on to display, and everybody can bring their 80s photos of what they look like in the 80s and display them on this big board where you could go up because everybody loves to see what everybody looked like in the 80s.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm down.
Rocking some Oshkosh Bagosh overalls.
I think that'd be great. And then you're standing there looking. Look at that person. The person behind you goes, "That's me."
I think I had some Umbros.
Oh man,
I played soccer. I remember Umbros were big.
Nice.
Umbros.
Mike, I'm ready if you want to.
All right, wait.
You got
go
my
ahead.
volume?
And he said something to you in your ear that nobody could hear. What exactly was it that he said?
To be honest, he said you need to stop bullshitting and be serious. You're not serious. That's why you out here playing around. He said the truth.
And he is right, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I'm just happy to be back in Memphis and give a decent showing. I'm glad Brother Clifford gave me a fight. And people don't understand the business when you show your love and respect when you fight one another, because that's how we elevate our lifestyle. We take care of our fighters, our family. So we can't say, hey, I'm scared to fight anybody. And closely, we're both Muslim, we're brothers. We owe each other to fight each other, to elevate our life.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
You did that in sparring?
No, I did it by a motorcycle accident. The doctor discovered I was doing my sit-ups, 2,500.
So let's stop that right there. So Mike Tyson, after a major televised event, loses and says he broke his back.
Oh my God!
The announcer says, "What do you mean? Like your vertebrae?" He's like, "Nah, it's spinal."
Spinal.
And he says, "How did that happen?" In a motorcycle accident earlier in the week. Like
Why is he driving a motorcycle?
I am shocked and chagrined, mortified and stupefied.
I broke my back.
I think we need that sound
My
clip.
back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Spinal.
You did that in
You can't get any better than
Oh
that.
my
Mike
God.
Tyson. Check it out. Broken back clip on YouTube. Never gets old. Do
but-
you want to what's up?
By the way, real fast, going back to the pictures thing, I just decided in my own head,
Right.
this is how quick I am,
Ooh.
that we're going to be doing it. We'll do it at the Toxic tent because Toxic will be there.
Yeah.
I'll have the board to put up, and it'll be put on by Cinescape, but I'll throw up some kind of prize pack
Okay.
for the best one.
All right.
Ooh, I
And
like
we
I like that.
vote on what the best 80s picture is.
Okay.
Somebody comes up. I'm hoping somebody comes up with like a full-on punked out mohawk.
And it's got to
like
be a
80s
picture. It's got to
picture.
be a picture from the 80s, right?
It's got to be a picture
You
of them
can't-
from the 80s.
Like you can't just go dress up tomorrow as something from the 80s.
No,
right?
it's
Okay.
got to be.
All right.
You got to give us some. We got to be able to look at it and look at you and go, "Yep, that's you from
Like,
the '80s,
ew,
or that's you,
gross.
or from the early '90s."
Yeah. All right. I like it.
And I'll throw some whoever they want autographed picture of.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
That's
Make it
Eric.
happen.
That's great.
It's great when you just go over stuff like that live on air. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, you know what? This is the think tank that we are
Yes.
at times. You know what I mean? We come up with these ideas and we don't necessarily apply them. And
Fueled by alcohol,
Yeah.
coffee, and water.
absolutely, hey, it's the liquid diet, right? Sean, do you want to start carrying off with some of our other things, and then we can bounce back to Eric?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
Because
get into some stuff.
we were talking.
And
to
if
Eric,
you want to jump in on anything too that you hear that we're talking about that you wanna chime in, feel free.
yeah,
I
Eric's got
appreciate
a lot of really cool stories he was starting to
this
share
guy's
with us
full of
before
stories.
before
Chock
we
full
went
of
on. So we'll definitely jump back to that after we get
Absolutely.
through some of our stuff.
You know that coffee chock full of nuts?
chock full of nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy's chock full of stories.
Oh.
that-
You know what? I'm a little upset though.
Why?
Before we get going,
Why are you
I
upset?
can't find our current affair sound clip
No.
in the thing.
Mike, where's the current affair
Mike,
sound clip?
This, Mike prefaced this before we started
Yes.
rolling. You know, if
Well,
he,
what if
he
I
messed
just
up,
cue it up here and Mike, you just keep my sound up here.
As long as you're plugged in, you're good.
Well, he's got the aux cord.
He's got the aux cord.
So I do Uber like randomly part time, and I
he
picked up
picks
these,
up crackheads.
I picked up these two girls one night from the bar.
Yeah.
And
oh
they're like-
Jesus.
They're like talking about like a song, like Stacy, I really got the song that you gotta hear. And she's like, okay, Vanessa, what's the song? She's like, and then the girl in the front seat is like, excuse me, do you have an aux cord? And I'm like, I'm just like, what? What's a?
You got to get with the lingo.
What's
You got
an
to.
aux?
You got to get with the
An
lingo.
aux cord.
You're showing your age.
Maybe it was no. Well, I know what an aux cord is. Like, I think it was a little bit of the emphasis that she was using, like
Oh.
her twang. a
Her
little bit.
twang.
Like she was like aux cord. I was like, what's an aux cord? You know, like she had that really like Valley Girl type, and I couldn't comprehend. I'm like, oh, an auxiliary cord? You mean? Yes, I have one of those.
Do you have the plug?
Do you have the plug? Oh man, so.
All right. Well, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but today's show is actually brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial from breaking news, audibletrial.com/the Cinescape podcast with over 180,000 titles to choose from. There you go. From your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So get yourself some free stuff there. Check us out. Help us help you. We are going to get into our TV Buzz segment. This week's TV Buzz segment, we're going to highlight the biggest news stories, review some episodes, and open it up for some discussion. So, since our last show, right after Christmas,
Yeah,
before
about
the
3
New
weeks
Year,
now.
Yeah, we had a nice little hiatus.
Great time.
I
I love taking hiatuses.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like you're part of the industry. You know
It
what I mean?
does. Everybody's doing it.
Right.
So, we got to do it too. But this time of the year is kind of slow
It is.
for both film
Movies
and
and TV.
TV news.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these things that I have are, from the past 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, a little mishmash here. But first one leading off, Showtime's comedy drama Shameless has officially been renewed for an 8th season, though no premiere date has been given at this time. The news came a day after the season 7 finale and the news that actress Emmy Rossum's contract dispute had been settled. Ooh. I am a giant Shameless fan.
I know
this
you
is, are. This is one of my favorite shows that's currently on TV right now. Just the way that, all the characters are such, scummy people, but they're good people at heart, and they just constantly make.
Isn't that the fairy tale of America, though?
Yeah, they're the backbone of America.
Right.
This is what America's about.
Hey, that's the drug dealer I really want.
Yeah, they're
in my life.
the drug dealers with redeemable qualities,
Right.
that you still root for. So I'm very excited that they're going to keep the show going, and also that one of the main characters, contract dispute is settled and over with.
Great.
Eric, are you a fan of Shameless at all?
Love Shameless. Can't get enough of it.
Are you all caught up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What'd you think about this last season?
Some slow parts in the middle, but it made it through it. I think it's only getting, it's one of sometimes shows they lose it after a couple seasons.
Yeah.
This one keeps on getting better.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love. Everybody loves crazy things.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to stop and watch an accident. That's what Shameless.
Oh, the show's a train wreck. It absolutely is.
It's fantastic. But it's like one of those things. Like you have to have the whole family. If Frank died, done. The show's done.
Yep.
If you own any of them, it's crazier.
It's so funny watching William H. Macy plays Frank on the show, and he's such in any other thing you've ever seen. He was on ER. He's in so many different things. He's such a straight-laced character in most things that he's been on, and then it's a shock to your system watching him on Shameless just because of the type of character he plays. He's the most absolutely despicable, deplorable dude that you've ever seen on TV, but you love him at the same time, and the writers do such a good job of really ebbing and flowing with him. You love him, and then there's times that you just hate his freaking guts, and you I just think he does such a great job on that show that it's really awesome to watch.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of the bums from New Orleans when I was in my restaurant, to be honest with you.
Well, he's pretty much a bum.
He looks
on the
like
show.
a bum, yeah.
He does.
So I think they might have got from the people from, have you ever been down in New Orleans? The bums are everywhere. And actually, I would hire at the end of the night some bums to clean up.
Okay.
It was a couple beers, $5. You're good to
Nice.
go. One time I had a situation, reminds me of what Frank would do. All of a sudden, I had a guy, he's like, I need to sleep for a little bit. And I didn't know, I was busy. It was a Sunday night. All of a sudden, he's sleeping behind the counter. And he gets up, and he just starts getting naked. I got 20 people in the restaurant, and this guy's getting naked. Takes off his shirt, throws it, takes his pants off, shoes are off.
Great ass.
He actually looked like the Grinch. I swear to God, he looked like the Grinch. And it was just amazing. But that's when I watch that, it brings back some funny times.
Yeah.
When I was in New Orleans. But it's unbelievable. But
Oh my God.
so.
Oh man, Bill, read our next story.
Okay. The upcoming Tales from the Crypt reboot TV series has been put on hold, citing complicated right issues. A representative from TNT spoke on the issue, saying the underlying rights to the classic vintage property are complicated. TNT and others have been pursuing a solution for more than a year, with significant progress being made. We look forward to the potential for further active development on this valuable franchise once the clearance process is fully restored.
Now, this really pisses me off to no end.
I mean, I think the theme today is we're talking about things from our childhood and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
this certainly fits.
This was definitely one of those
It was
shows,
tailor-made.
that was at the end of the night spectrum, that 11:30 to 12:30 time slot, on a Friday, Saturday night, and you're staying up just a little too late, and this had some creepy shit going on. And, this is one of those things. Eric, do you feel this is something that should stay in the past as nostalgia, or do you think it does deserve a little coming back to come back to life? A little revival.
It's a tough question. That's something I personally, like I said, if it's not broken, like
Yeah.
leave it as it was. I mean, whatever BS reason they gave, whatever you just read, it's just money. We're just talking money. The bottom line
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
is, keep the integrity of the franchise. What
Right.
the hell does that mean?
Yeah,
Just
it's
show
been
me
off
enough
the air for
money.
20 years.
Right. Exactly. Actually met the guy who played the Crypt Keeper.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
And
nice.
he's a real cool guy, and I'm like, how'd you get it? He's like, I just one day tried out through a voice, and they loved it, and I got the job. I'm like,
Wow.
awesome. So it's I loved it growing up. I mean, every time when I was growing up, it got the chills a little bit. You seen that,
Right.
The Crypt Keeper, but
I like the movies. Demon Knight and then Bordello Blood.
Yeah.
yes.
Dennis Miller and the
Yeah.
one.
Hey guys, got a little heart thing going on. That's my terrible Dennis Miller impression.
Yeah, it was really good, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
At least you tried.
You son of a bitch.
Why don't you read the next one?
All right, Netflix has renewed Fuller House for a third season despite a 67% ratings dip during season 2. Bill, have you checked out Fuller House?
I watched the first season.
Did you?
I didn't really tag on board for the second season, and I mean, obviously, I just feel like that's one of those shows. It's part of our childhood, but as nowadays, it's more gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about DJ and her kids and what's going on with the family.
She's hot though.
Yeah, I know. But like I don't care about the kids not getting to school on time and stuff like that, and what's going on with Uncle Jesse these days, and why he can't ride a motorcycle anymore. Yeah,
Oh, he can't? I haven't watched any of it.
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
an episode.
I mean, he might not be able to. Maybe it's just he let his motorcycle license expire or something,
okay.
and he doesn't ride anymore. I
Right.
don't know. Hey, whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
that happens.
But they're still living in the same house in San Francisco. You mean to tell me you wouldn't sell that house by now? The real estate value being what it is. Like, come on. They had that house probably since the late 80s. They probably dropped, very minimum money on it. The value of that property now could easily be well up to, close to $1 million.
I wish during his little monologue right here, I had the soft music that would play when Danny's giving a life lesson to one of the kids.
Michelle, listen.
Like little strings.
I think the house actually just got sold recently.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I don't know what they got for it, but
Interesting.
We're going to stick with a nostalgic show that's also a reboot here. Disney's Girl Meets World has officially been canceled. Oh. In a statement from the official Twitter account for the show, it said, "It is with incredible pride in our work and complete sadness that things end that I report this wonderful audience that our show is over. I just officially got the call and would like to thank this audience for its incredible love and loyalty. Please watch our January episodes. We love you with we leave you with 3 incredible souvenirs of a show we couldn't be more proud of. As I look back, I can tell you with absolute certainty we gave you our best." So, Boy Meets World is and will always remain my favorite show of all time.
Of all time, really?
All time.
Wow.
that's bold.
That is bold.
That was the crux of my growing upness.
Who did you identify with on that show?
Oh, I feel
Were you more of a
I was
Sean
more of
Hunter?
a Corey. I mean, my name is Sean,
Right.
but he spelled it the wrong way, so that
Yeah.
kind of took me off of it a little bit.
And you don't really strike me as a guy that would date
Nah.
a black girl.
Well, back in the day.
Whoa! Whoa!
Billy.
No, I was more of a Corey guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were Corey?
Sean was, the bad kid that you never, or that you wanted to hang out with, but you didn't want to be because your parents would always yell at you. But I tried watching an episode or two of Girl Meets World, and it was just really hokey and cheesy.
Yeah.
And, not
I can imagine.
not made for a 30-year-old man. So, yeah, I gave up on that.
I sat there and watched it because I did want that little nostalgia part to
Yeah.
it, and I did feel kind of creepy as a 36-year-old
Yeah.
man going, I should be watching
Especially
this.
when
This
you're
is just
watching a
weird.
12-year-old girl with no pants
you're
on.
36?
Yes.
Wow.
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 Yes.
You
Some of
learn
us were
something new every
some of
day.
us were born in 1980. Yeah. 36 years old. But the only thing that I popped for was when Topanga got on, because Topanga was from back in the day, all of our crushes, and we all looked at her and went,
Topanga.
oh,
Can you put a picture of Topanga up
yeah,
right now?
you don't have to ask twice.
Topanga.
Let me go to my secret archive. Oh.
He's got the spank
Juan,
back
do
up.
you know about his archive folder of 80s women? Oh yes.
This is what he's also going to bring to Ozfest.
Oh, definitely. Oh, the milk.
Oh, hello.
Where's the one of her on the beach?
Oh, that's a nice one.
All right, she's answering an old school telephone. Oh, screen.
Oh, no. That's not what you want to look at.
All
Right?
right.
Put them together, right?
Wow, no, that's.
Ah,
I feel.
Come on, Mike.
What girl wears a one piece anymore?
Yeah, I feel like I should be watching SVU after that. Oh.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Well, that's her. Yeah.
But yeah, she barely shows up in the Girl Meets world. It's like very rare.
Way
that
to
she
be an
shows
absentee mom.
up. I know. Like, where's she at? Couldn't pay enough.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple more stories here for our TV Buzz segment. The CW has renewed their DC shows Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow for new seasons in 2017-2018. Yeah, so they are also on their hiatus here. They should be coming back within the next 2 weeks. Good things all around with that news story. I'm a big fan of all four of those shows. You know, Supergirl was one. I've mentioned this before that I tried to watch during season 1 on CBS. I just couldn't get into it, but after they switched over this year to the CW, the show has gotten better. Their 4-night crossover between the 4 shows was really cool. So yeah, very positive news here. Eric, are you a fan of any of these shows at all?
I don't like the CW.
No?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of anything in the CW. It just doesn't do it for me.
Okay, a little like teenish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just missing something. You
Okay.
know? But I love, like the cartoons of those different shows, but
Right.
not the actual, like, real people. It's not. Let's keep it what it was.
Okay.
You know?
And yeah, Bill doesn't watch any of them, so
No,
I'm not even
I'm
going to throw
right,
it over to
yeah.
him.
Billy, don't have a TV? Is that the issue? Or?
Yeah, no TV. No
Yeah,
TV.
he just watches stupid
What's
stuff.
the CW?
Exactly.
I'm still watching movies on Prism.
Yes.
Prism? Anyone? Prism?
That's
Yeah,
where
I
I
remember
watched, I
Prism.
watched my first porno, I think.
Remember?
From
Really?
Prism, actually. I
In
think
blue and white, right? Scrambled.
yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
My dad had the D-Scrambler.
Ah, yeah.
He was one of those guys. So you'd go to the channel, be all scrambled, then you'd just turn the frequency down on the scrambler, and then it would come in straight, and you're like, oh. There
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
like when you would luck out watching the Spice Channel back in the day, when it would
Uh-huh.
like turn blue for like 4 seconds,
and then your Spidey senses
yeah,
go
you get
off.
to see
Though
a boob, and then it all
You're-
like goes to shit.
you all of a sudden get supersonic hearing when you're watching that stuff, in case anybody comes close to coming in the room you're in.
Doorknobs jiggling. All right, and our final story. This goes along with the last one for Supergirl. Actor Peter Gadiot has been cast as Mr. Mxyzptlk on Supergirl. Now, we talked about this before 2016 ended. You know, he's that little. I don't want to say midget. Little
Why?
dwarf character. He's extra dimensional being. Gil Gavrida voiced him on the animated series. It'll be a little weird seeing a man-sized version of this character, but whatever, I guess. We are also Bill. Did you watch? You said you didn't watch the
No,
episode
I
Always
didn't
Sunny.
watch
Eric,
it.
do you watch Always Sunny at all?
That show kind of lost me. Some of the stuff's just getting too ridiculous. I used to watch it a lot, and then love Danny DeVito. Like the little guy with the goatee. What's his name again? I forget.
Little guy with the goatee.
It was in Horrible Bosses.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah,
Day.
yeah. Like him. Don't like the brother sister too much. Just some people just
Dee and Dennis.
yeah, not a fan. I think she just got her own show on Fox, right?
Yeah, I watched that one this past week.
Sweet D.
She's
Sweet
hot.
tea.
She's definitely hot. Yeah, there you go. That's an interesting picture.
So this week, as the new episode was coming out to premiere, I had posted a bunch of pictures on our Twitter page. Years ago, I had gone to a taping of one of the shows down the city when they were here, and I got to meet most of the cast. I met D, I met Charlie, Mac, Dennis. The only person I didn't get to meet was Danny DeVito,
That's a
which is
shame.
like I got pictures of him on set, but I didn't get to formally meet him. But it was really cool posting all those. I was tweeting at them, trying to get them to call into the show sometime, but I didn't
That's
hear
not working
anything
out.
back. But
Yeah, I gotcha.
but yeah, the newest episode of this is season 12 now. I can't
Wow.
believe it.
That's amazing.
This I think the title was The Gang Goes Black, and basically the crux of the episode is they're watching The Wiz. It's a
Sure.
African American remake of Wizard of Oz, and they like the VCR that they're watching like gets zapped, and they all get electrocuted and pass out, and then when they wake up, they're like in this like faux musical. So like every time they're starting to try to figure out what's going on, they break out into song, and they can't help themselves, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, how they can stop it all, and going through that, and then different racial things going on that they're trying to avoid that the way they do on the show. For me, like you said, it kind of fell off for you, but for myself, I'm just such a huge fan of the show. I don't think it's really ever lost a step.
Oh, it's great. I'm still a fan, but I'm only as caught up as Netflix gets caught up because I don't ever have time to watch it online. I can never find it anywhere, so I think I'm still on season 9.
Okay,
so I still haven't caught up to where they're at. But I think it's a brilliant show, and Danny DeVito, what he goes through on that show, the ins and outs. I mean, falling out of a couch butt naked and sweating his ass off. I mean, I saw him in an interview once where they asked him, "Is there anything you wouldn't do?" He's like, "I got naked and fell out of a couch." He's like, "If it's funny, I'll do it," which is just a great.
And it's
to
so
look
funny to watch, like from the beginning of the show, like when he first started on, to how respectable of a guy he was, like as his character, and to see where he is now. He's just such a disheveled, like crappy human being.
Oh yeah.
And he plays his role so perfectly.
He plays it so great. And it's just funny to look back at what he has done in the movies he's done, and the television he's done, to see that it's now in his career later on when he's an older gentleman that he decides it kind of I wonder if that was like something that he consciously thought of, that I'm getting older, fuck it,
he's just
go out with a bang
wants.
and do the craziest stupidest thing he could possibly imagine, because once he's done all this stuff on Always Sunny, there's not much you can kind of call him out on.
There's no coming back from that.
I've acted like I've done this and that. It's just crazy.
All right, Bill, I want you to flip our script here. Go ahead, read this little.
Wait, did you play the sound clip?
No, not yet. I'm ready for you. I'm queued up. Get ready for it.
You can go ahead. Oh.
Ooh. Ah.
Oh. So it's with.
Read the segment description, Bill.
I just looked up and
It looks like a stuffed sausage.
That's the worst transition into this next topic.
So you guys can't see it, but up on our monitor, we just have the GIF file of him Danny DeVito falling naked out of the couch. He's like all oiled up and greasy.
Oh, yeah.
That should be their commercial for that show always.
Oh my God, I love it.
All right. So get ready for a nut punch. And Carrie Fisher has
Uh.
passed away this past week at the age of
Why,
60.
you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
Oh.
She had a heart attack on board a plane traveling from London to L.A. a few days before Christmas, but was stabilized at the UCLA Medical Center and then sadly passed away the following day. Fisher's mother, actress Debbie Reynolds, also passed away just a day after, also having a stroke. Just sad.
Yeah, double
sad
whammy there.
Sad news. And I mean, I think that her mother passing right after, that's just a broken heart right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you could read stories out there that how close the two were. Carrie Fisher just was coming back through the Star Wars franchise these past few years as that was starting to gain traction. I know we discussed briefly about how Disney should handle her role in this next movie, because it was confirmed that shortly after her death that she had completed her filming of scenes with an Episode 8 movie, but now there leaves the question of what to do with her character going forward. Obviously, they from the sounds of things, based off the scenes that she filmed, she probably would have been maybe in line for Episode 9. At least her character would have still been intact at that point.
They said she had a larger role in this movie.
So now, what do we do going forward? I mean, do we write her out and perform reshoots and you alter the script,
tough.
or do you go ahead with obviously, with after Rogue One just coming out, do you move ahead with CGI production and filter that what?
That reminds me of The Sopranos when the mother died and they CGI'd her into some friggin' parts of it afterwards, and you just looked and went, "Why?"
But did you see Rogue One? Either one of you?
No, I haven't seen Rogue One.
No.
Remember,
No.
Mike's not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
Remember
Mike's not
that
even
conversation?
Mike's not even a fan.
I
of
don't
pussy.
want to see Rogue One.
My story wasn't.
I
a
don't
Star Wars.
like pussy.
Wow, what? When did I say that part?
There was a night.
No, ladies, I might be single, but I am a signal. Anyway, no, I said I didn't have. It was weird because with most Star Wars movies, I have this urge to want to see it, and with this one, I just have no ambition to see it. But going back to your whole thing of CGI, maybe CGI nowadays has gotten better than the Soprano days. But I remember when they CGI'd his mother into the scene where she because she had died before, they had to kill her off basically, and it was wrong. The head looked weird. It was they used audio from previous scenes, and it was awkward for everybody viewing and watching. I don't think they should do that. Just figure out a way that. They just reference her passing or something, and that's the way to go about it.
So during our hiatus, I had actually appeared on another podcast from. Yes, I jumped ship a little bit. What?
I'm sorry to stop you, but there is one main thing that I think is important for your show.
Yes.
Did you see how Carrie Fisher decided to have her urn?
No. This is intriguing stuff here.
It's a giant Prozac. What the hell is that?
It's a TIE fighter.
It's a giant Prozac pill. Was Carrie Fisher's urn.
Is that Montel Williams?
When she died, she had it in her will to have her be put into a giant Prozac pill urn.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. Well,
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
She was an advocate for mental disease.
Right,
she was, bipolar herself.
Right.
So, it's fitting. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought that had to be mentioned during the story.
Thank you.
Thank you for that little tidbit there.
Thank
Michael.
you, Mike.
What was I saying?
A lot.
Oh yeah. So anyway, on our break, I jumped on another podcast from a guy named John Manasco. He runs the Plot Demands It. A show like ours, a movie talk type of show. And John and I were actually throwing around this very topic of how they should handle Leia moving forward. And how she appeared in Rogue One. Spoiler alert! If you didn't see that, how she appeared in Rogue One, and the ethics behind reusing characters that have passed on with CGI. My thinking was because they did say that she had finished all her scenes for Episode 8, and that was before her passing. If she were to die in Episode 8, I don't think it should be viewed as, them writing her out of the story because she died, because obviously, that was the story before she died anyway. The converse to that would, would still look bad for people who didn't already know that information. Like, they're just writing her out because she died, and they wouldn't be able to bring her back, or. If you could use CGI to bring her back, is that tasteful? And there are two bodies of thinking with that. Like with Peter Cushing, he died in the mid-90s, and they brought him back for Rogue One. And that was he looked pretty good. I mean, you could obviously tell that
he looked good for dead.
Yeah, he looked good for a guy who's been dead for 20 years. But and then when they spoilers again, they redid Leia in CGI form.
Yeah.
And I thought she looked much better than Tarkin did. Tarkin. But the question is, what should they reuse deceased actors and actresses? And I think if it's done tastefully, that absolutely
like no nudes.
No nudes. Like
okay.
On the show that I was on. I'm like, you're not going to have Peter Cushing reappear in Rogue One, like dancing around in a monkey suit. They want to be respectful to, the character, the actor who played him and also his family. So obviously the family has to sign off on their relative being reused on screen. If they were going to redo that with Leia moving forward, is it too soon to do something like that? And I think it could be.
Yeah.
That line is, how soon should you be able to, reuse a dead actor with CGI? Like, is it 5 years? Is it 10 years?
Right.
You don't want to seem like you're capitalizing on their death by, having them pop up on a movie, a year after they died. So that's, we're really entering new territory with things like that, being able to reproduce.
Right, because you wouldn't just bring
humans.
back like Rodney Dangerfield for Back to School 2, would you?
Yeah.
I mean, or would you?
Yeah,
Or would
absolutely.
you?
What did the Fast and Furious do with Paul Walker? Didn't they use?
But I think they,
use a brother. Or
yeah,
something
they
like
used his
They use
brother.
his brother,
Right.
and I mean, like obviously, the technology takes the existing, facial features and et cetera, and applies it over, over a subject, because even the Leia subject was another actress, and they overlaid.
Yeah, they just did her face
Right.
over it.
So, I mean, that goes without saying, but to your point, is there a too soon? And if so,
I think if they were going to do that next year, I think that would be too soon.
yeah.
And, my thinking with, her role in Episode 8, they're saying that her role in this movie is a lot larger than Episode 7, which is good, but Han Solo had a pretty large role in Episode 7, and, he kicked the bucket in that
Right.
movie. So my thinking is that she's going to was going to be written off to die in this movie anyway, and probably in Episode 9 you're going to see Luke do the same thing.
But do you think if Disney comes out saying that that's what the intention was to begin with, that it kind of softens the blow then for?
No, I don't think they have to.
Well, they don't have to, but-
They have such a love for their their actors that I don't think anybody would probably think anything negative like that. They've put out enough press releases and statements regarding her death and passing it anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that probably is the plan. Killing off Han, killing off Leia, killing off Luke, because all those actors are up there in age. I mean, she was only 60, but you're not going to have her, running around doing anything really in these movies. And the same goes with Mark Hamill. You can't really have him in action scenes moving forward with his age. So most likely those characters were already set to be killed off anyway. So, yeah, I mean, obviously just a terrible blow for the Star Wars film fan community. But yeah, we'll wish her family all the best, and
Yeah, we'll have to see what really comes about from that.
and we'll get to see her one more time this year in Episode 8 as well.
Yeah. With that being said, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy revealed that the upcoming Han Solo spin-off film will begin production next month. Kennedy also revealed that fans would begin seeing promo material for Episode 8 this spring, close to this year's Star Wars celebration in Orlando. So do you think with Episode 8 promo stuff coming out, that'll probably coincide with Guardians of the Galaxy coming out also in the springtime?
No, I don't think the two will go hand in hand.
No, because we usually get some sort of Disney, taste.
Well, the Guardians comes out in May,
Right.
right?
Do we get anything we don't have anything before
See,
that,
this is
so-
tricky because I think with last year's celebration, they didn't have really anything new to
So,
show.
well, then we might maybe get a teaser trailer, and
That's
then
what
a
I'm
full,
thinking,
and
like
then a
you-
full trailer
they might
with
well,
Guardians.
Yeah, like they
possibly.
might want to wait until Celebration to actually debut the full trailer. Whether you see like a little tease.
Because when does Guardians premiere?
Yeah, I think it's like May 17th, something like that. I
Because
know
May,
it's in
May the 4th would be.
Yeah, well, I think Celebration's in June. I'll have to look that up, but I think that comes after Guardians. But regardless, I think they learned from last year's event that they're a little lacking in what the new things they're bringing to the table, and I think they're gonna keep things a little more close to the vest this year and look to keep that a new trailer specific for Celebration itself and the fans that are in attendance for that. And also that was overseas last year too.
Yeah.
It was over. I think it was in London last year. So it'll be in the U.S. this year. So they're going to be a little more primed to have something new and special for this year's Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment Weekly has revealed that a character from the original 1968 Planet of the Apes film will make a return for War of the Planets of the Apes. I keep saying planets. War of the Planet of the Apes.
Plants of the Apes?
Plants of the Apes. The character Nova, who was an adult in the original film, played by Linda Harrison, will appear in the new film as a young mute girl played by 12-year-old actress Amaya Miller. Bill, what do you think about this news?
It's fantastic. Let me just say that right there. It's phenomenal. It's going to be a great movie. I love apes. Apes, if they could, I'm sure they would fly, but they don't. So let's build a wall. Okay, it's great.
Got to keep the apes out.
Got to keep the apes out. I'm going to make all the ape community pay for the wall. It's going to be great.
Eric, are you excited to see the new War for the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, I love the Planet of the Apes. All the different ones are coming out. I mean, I've watched every one. Usually I don't go into theaters. It's kind of like a sit at home. I don't want to share with anyone else. I enjoy my own house.
This man likes to watch apes alone in his house.
Yes.
Let's just say that right there.
Please don't judge.
Don't judge. It's great.
No judgments in the studio.
No judgment. It's phenomenal.
All right, Bill, read our next one.
Warner Brothers has announced that characters Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, and Hippolyta, played by Connie Nielsen, will be appearing in the newest Justice League film. That's if it ever takes off.
Yeah.
Considering DC doesn't have their shit together. And,
Well, we do have Wonder Woman coming out this year.
Well, you got Wonder Woman, but now you got Batman flip-flopping around, and he doesn't
we're
know
gonna
what
talk
the hell
about
he's
that
doing,
in a minute.
But move on. A sequel to 2016's Bad Moms is now set for November 3rd, 2017 release. Stars Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, and Katherine Hahn are all set to reprise their roles. Did you see this one, Eric?
Actually, I went to Vegas
Yeah.
during the Christmas break there, and I watched it on my girlfriend's phone.
Yeah.
We shared earpieces together. Watched
Okay,
it.
that's a magical moment.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was definitely. It was interesting. Kept my attention.
Yeah.
I was on a 5-hour flight, needed to do something.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would watch a sequel.
Yeah, I mean,
thought it was pretty good.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it, but from the previews and stuff like that, I mean, those are three actresses I wouldn't mind seeing in a room, and some raunchiness I'm sure that comes about from it.
Look at.
Oh, Billy.
Benedict Cumberbatch will reportedly reprise his role of Doctor Strange in Thor Ragnarok. Disney's D23 fan club viewed the film and described the news saying, Thor Ragnarok in November brings together Thor, the Hulk, and Doctor Strange to face off against intergalactic baddies, both familiar and new. So if you guys have been watching us for any length of time and you saw our Doctor Strange review, you know how much we love that movie, and how excited we are to see Doctor Strange moving forward. Bill, what do you think about him popping up in Thor Ragnarok?
I love it. Obviously, once you saw the bonus clip, you kind of knew what was going to take place. And just hearing this affirmation about Doctor Strange, Thor, and Hulk coming together, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be magical. And it's going to really just tie in that space and magic dynamic that we haven't really had a complete one side of.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we'll finally get to see some of those components really come together, seeing things like, the power of the Tesseract and the power of the Eye of Agamotto, and just those realms come together now. It's going to be that nice mysticism, really, that component there. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really cool.
And from things that I've been reading online, like it's not reported to be like a quick cameo either. Like he's
it's
gonna have
be
a substantial role in the film.
Yeah.
Like my thinking is that he's definitely going to be involved with, we see all these pieces, like promo pieces with Odin's on Earth. So I think he's going to be heavily involved in locating him for Thor and Loki. And you're probably going to see him at the beginning of the film, and then probably towards the end of the film again.
And I wouldn't doubt seeing some of the power that he just started to tap into at the end of the Doctor Strange movie.
Because he wasn't the full Sorcerer Supreme at the end of that movie.
And I mean,
still got a long
it
ways
was
to
right
go.
at the end of the movie that he finally learned to really harness the power to to the point where it made an impact. And I mean, what better time than at the end of the movie when you need to wrap things up? But,
yeah, absolutely.
For a new movie going forward, yeah, for a new movie such as this, it really bodes well for the storyline. For anything that does need to be repaired or, retuned in that sense, here's a guy who's able to manipulate time and get things right and give somebody, the opportunity that they need to do.
Can he turn back time and make Thor?
If he could turn back time,
can he make The Dark World a little bit better of a movie?
He might be able to. He might be able to just cast away elves and all that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Let's see.
Continuing with Thor Ragnarok, we got a little bit more for this movie.
Yeah, you want to read it?
All right, I'll read it.
Yeah.
The official synopsis for Thor Ragnarok has been revealed and reads, in Marvel Studios' Thor Ragnarok, Thor is imprisoned on the other side of the universe without his mighty hammer and finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard and stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his homeworld, and the end of the Asgardian civilization at the hands of an all-powerful new threat, the ruthless Hera. But first he must survive a deadly gladiatorial contest that pits him against his former ally and fellow Avenger, the Incredible Hulk. Breaking news. So we are going to see we're going to see elements of the Planet Hulk comic story appear in this movie. With the film rights, Universal actually owns the distribution rights to the Hulk movies.
Yeah.
That's why you were not seeing any new standalone Hulk movies. Like, he can appear in all the other ones, but as if it's not
I think
his
you should
own.
play the You Bastards clip for that.
There it is. You damn you, Universal. But, he can appear in the other movies, the Avengers movies or whatever it may be. So we're going to see him face off against Hulk on that
I can't wait
whatever
for that.
planet.
And you got Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's there.
Goldblum.
Kate Blanchett is playing Hera.
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson's in there as Valkyrie.
A lot of good names in this movie.
the-
I think they realized, Thor has been, it's been good in the franchise, but it hasn't been great yet. It hasn't had the heavy hitting names that you would like for the franchise. And finally, I feel like they've invested that into this movie, and you're gonna get what you pay for a little bit.
I think they should just make a full movie of that.
The
that
whole
video of the
Thor,
what Thor was doing during
with
Civil
that
War.
roommate.
This is my roommate.
Did you guys see that video? There's like a spoof video of what Thor was doing after Avengers, and it's just like him,
during Civil War while he wasn't in
and
it.
it's just like him like hanging out with this like roommate that he's been bunking with. It's like totally hilarious. He's like totally just wearing like one of the like the drug rug hoodies and just like jean shorts, and he just got his hammer, and he's just like totally just doing jack shit. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they should definitely make a full feature out of that one. But I think like Thor is such like the type of character
he's
that
just
he
so
is.
out of place. You know what I mean? When he's
and
on
that's
Earth.
what makes it the best. Like, he is so out of place that all of his funny moments are accentuated because of that fact.
Yeah.
And that just makes for greater comedic moments for me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is definitely cool. We're gonna see a lot of these heroes teaming up in this movie. Throwing down. Infinity War is coming up.
I know.
It's next year.
Are you ready? Are you into all this, Eric? All the Infinity Wars, the Marvel, stuff going on.
Yeah, I usually watch them.
Yeah.
Occasionally, if not in the theater at home, definitely catch up on them all.
Oh my God, there's just so much stuff going on with this. I mean, you got to think this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and
it's amazing what's happening. All the money, like if it happened, it's going to happen in the '90s. For there wasn't the right time for it.
No, it definitely wasn't. There's too many. You had too many production companies, so many different things going on in the industry. Whereas now, you look at how Disney bought out Lucasfilm, 5 years ago for $4.5 billion or something like that. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Chump change.
Chump change.
Exactly.
They're just they're extending on to Disney World, and they're gonna have like a little area where you can sit in an X-wing fighter. But I mean, that's how crazy this is. Is that this part of our childhood? And as we were talking about the 80s and 90s, growing up, reading, watching, comic book shows and all that stuff, and now it's coming to life. It's surreal almost, and the way that Marvel executes is really with a precision that obviously nobody really has any contention with, you know?
Right, yeah.
Because Warner Brothers, DC, they
haven't done it yet.
They are just a mess. Whatever is going on in their think tank over there, you know, everybody's just getting messed up on drugs and not doing anything the right way. You know, which brings us back to the 80s, where people would get messed up on drugs and come up with movies like Weekend at Bernie's. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we need a movie about a dead guy that he gets carried around by two of his, wacky employees for an hour and a half and go. You know, like, don't you love that part of, like, the 80s where it was just kind of like, what the fuck was going on in some studio executive's mind? And
cocaine.
Cocaine was the prominent factor.
I'll ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Who is your daddy? And what does he do? But that was the great part about the 80s, is that these movies came about. You know, it was like you like Weekend at Bernie's, but now you're like, as an adult, you're like, who the fuck came up with this movie? You know, and somehow
who
it worked.
okayed the movie too?
Right.
Like,
What
not
was
just
the-
the creation. Like, oh yeah, this sounds like a good idea. Let's roll with
So
it.
we're running a little over time at this point. I think we
Again?
Yeah, again.
The way it goes.
Mike,
And-
break
by-
out the JMO.
By the way,
I
this
think you should.
same person that okays those movies are the same person that okayed the Cabbage Patch Doll movie.
I never watched that.
yeah.
You never
it's
watched that? Try watch it
No.
again nowadays.
Is it like Garbage Pail Kids?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It was Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay.
You're right. Garbage Pail Kids.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Garbage Pail Kids. They were
Cabbage Patch Kids are for girls.
those are the ones my mother bought me. I had to
Loser.
play with what I had to play with.
But I want to jump back. I want to take this back to Eric here and take this back to our whole 80s 90s topic. I feel like we started off strong with this. We did our normal stuff. Let's get back into this. And what are like some of the 80s 90s movies that like you really revered? You know, like when you're thinking of it, what are some of these movies? And obviously, like, some of the people that we have on the Nostalgia Fest lineup, we're in some prominent movies that we can attest to our childhood. Like, we got Donald Gibb up there, who was Ogre in Revenge of the Nerds. When you think about it, here's a guy who's so statuesque, and he's got those cross eyes that you remember, and
Yes.
you just remember him yelling nerds like at everybody, and you're just kind of like taken back by it. But what are some other movies that
I would say Goonies every time.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Apparently, they're not doing the reboot now, or the
No.
sequel, or whatever it was going to be.
But
Oh,
once
yeah.
again, that's a movie I don't feel we need to have rebooted. you know?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Karate Kid. I'm always
Yeah.
a fan of. I mean, I can't get enough.
Were you a
of it.
fan of the Jaden Smith Karate Kid?
Horrendous, horrible.
Terrible.
I just watched. this-
don't care.
Did you realize that Will and Jada Smith named their kids Willow and Jaden Smith? Like, do you get that? Will and Jada named their kids Willow and Jaden. It's pretty conceited, right?
Gotcha.
You know what
Gotcha.
All right, moving on.
I see what
Yeah.
you did.
There wasn't really much behind that. Just a
If Eric doesn't mention Back to the Future.
Of course, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters.
Marty.
You got to throw those movies in there.
What
You
about
gotta-
RoboCop? Are you a
It's-
RoboCop
I
fan?
liked it. Looking back on it, I don't know what I liked about it. I mean, the fact that I loved it, I'm like, why did I like this? I watched it. I'm like, they made 3 of them. I don't know how, but that's I was into that.
What's your favorite Arnold movie?
Kindergarten Cop.
That's,
No,
I'm a
Twins.
Terminator guy. I have Twins. I do.
Jingle all the way.
Twins is up there.
The Running Man was good.
Yes. I mean, it's anything he was in. It was Predator.
Predator.
Come
Oh,
on.
I like End of Days too. It's a good
End
one.
Yeah.
of Days.
Last Action Hero.
That's End of Days was good if I called, if I stayed home sick from school and that was the only thing on USA.
I saw that in the theater, and I had the action figure from that movie too.
That's embarrassing.
No, it was good. He had like a brown leather jacket on and a red T-shirt and
All right.
jeans.
Okay.
You can't forget the 80s
What's the
TV
matter?
shows.
What's that?
The 80s TV shows. Some
Yes.
great. Like, I mean,
Give me a rundown.
Alf. I love that.
Yes.
Oh, do you know who,
He
the person that played Alf just died?
Yeah, I was actually trying to get him for Nostalgia Fest. It's so tough to couldn't find him, and good thing I didn't get him because he would never made it anyway.
Right.
I mean, Different Strokes.
Okay.
Like
I liked what's his name's flip up sunglasses. You know, that was my thing.
yeah. I also like from the '90s Saved by the Bell. I mean,
Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
yeah. I mean, Screeches. That's why one of the reasons why I got him.
Were you a Miami Vice fan?
Oh,
love
I
Miami
still watch
Vice.
it. Whatever show I find once it's like
What was your one of your favorite cameos? Because so many celebrities cameoed on that show.
Phil Collins, I think.
Yes, Phil Collins.
Bill's brought that up a bunch of times.
And you know who he's played? A coke dealer. You know, every
Shockingly.
celebrity, every celebrity plays a coke dealer, which is great. You know, Wesley Snipes was on the show. Who did he play? A coke dealer. All right, you're coming into the show. You're gonna play a coke dealer. Like, oh my God, that's what I always wanted. I mean, I always buy coke, but I never really actually got to sell it. You know, it's great.
I got a show that seems like nobody ever remembers it, but
What?
it was such a part of me growing up.
What's that?
Small Wonder.
Yes.
Nobody seems to remember
Oh, I
this
remember
show.
her.
She
With
was
Vicky.
awesome. And Jamie,
the
was her brother.
robot. Yes.
Yes. I used to watch it all the
Wow,
time.
I remember
on
that.
Fox. I think it was on, right?
I bring it up and nobody remembers
I
it.
think I know.
What does she look like today?
I don't. Let's find.
I
don't
think
know.
I think I see her 4 rows down,
Oh,
8 over.
That one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I know that show.
Good thing she's not at Nostalgia Fest.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see the full picture. Maybe
still
she looks
there.
better than wait.
Look at those crow's eyes.
Blow the belt there.
Yeah. Yeah. Miami Vice was big for me. Knight Rider.
I tried. By the way, I almost got Hasselhoff.
Really?
Oh,
Very
man.
close. We negotiated back and forth. Started 1 hour. Really close. Just for he wanted a little bit more than I wanted to do.
Well, how much for Kit?
I can get the car.
Kit would be enough, you know? What I
Yeah.
mean? Just get Kit.
Nah, we've seen Kid already, though.
He's
Yeah,
been
I want the
around.
Hoff, man.
I want the Hoff.
Everybody, I want the Hoff eating a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wendy's.
That was
Gotta be
actually a question that I've seen pop up online for the new Baywatch movie.
Wendy's. Yeah.
Like,
Is he gonna be in
he's
it?
gonna him and Pam Anderson are supposed
Oh,
to
are they?
cameo in
Okay.
it. So, like, are they gonna have a scene with him eating a burger at all? in
Well, if
that
we get to
movie?
talk to Vanessa Angel, I mean, she was on Baywatch back in the day,
Ah,
so
okay.
she had a stint on there. We could ask her if she.
So
was
when Eric
approached
sets
for
up that interview for us,
Right.
we can ask her.
Absolutely, not a problem. Hey, I'm a team player. I appreciate this opportunity, so definitely.
But yeah, what are some other '80s shows that I really revered? I mean, Knight Rider. I was always
the Dukes
big
of
on that.
Hazzard.
Yeah, I was always Dukes started more '70s, right?
Yeah, I would say 70s.
So, but I mean, like Dukes kind of started the way for shows like Miami Vice, Knight Rider,
Facts of Life.
Facts of Life, Airwolf. You got
I
an
would know
Airwolf.
that.
I feel like
I
that was the thing in the '80s was like, hey, how can we turn a vehicle really cool? And it's like, we'll turn a Trans Am into a talking car. We'll turn a helicopter into this cool stealth fighter. What about MacGyver?
Okay, gotta love MacGyver.
Gotta love MacGyver.
What about V? Did you guys watch V at all? It was like the alien one. It was like on
I tried watching the newer one.
He's got
when that
Perfect
came
Strangers up.
Yeah.
Out. Oh man, I love Perfect
Balky
Strangers.
Bartokamus.
It's
Yeah,
my life. It's my dream. Nothing's gonna stop me now.
What about Bosom Buddies? Wasn't that
Bosom Buddies.
I was just typing that one.
You know, if we were to call Pat's got a story about Bruce Willis when he ran into him at a casino in AC.
Oh, yeah?
And he asked him about Bosom Buddies, the one.
Maybe we could have asked him if he came.
Oh wait,
to the
no, I'm not.
studio
I'm
with
not.
us.
No, not Bosom Buddies. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Moonlight.
Yes.
Moonlight.
Ah.
I'm sorry. That's the Bruce Willis.
You
show.
know, I asked him to come in with us today. What's he doing?
He's probably taking a shit or something.
I gotta take a shit.
You know, that guy's-
get a shower.
That guy's
That's gonna
bowels.
take like
That guy's
3
bowels
hours.
have been backed up since fucking 1982.
Loser.
What else we got? I mean, just so much going on with the 80s and 90s now, and I feel like Nostalgia Fest is going to bring it all together.
Absolutely. I mean, we got Major League. Corbin Burnsen's going to be there.
Yeah.
Everyone. He is actually, Charlie Sheen was trying to when they
Really?
in the World Series. They're trying to do national anthem or throw out the first pitch or something like that. But he's going to be there. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, though, I have one other idea for Nosfest because I'm serious. I'm obsessed with it.
I feel like this is going to be awesome.
I love it.
I'm ready.
Well, every other con has Artist Alley. Artist Alley.
Right.
Artist
Where
Alley.
where are all the artists sit there? What if you had Arcade Alley
Ooh.
with all the 80s and 90s art? Because that's when arcades were so huge, and you have you got a bunch of guys in the area that have like a warehouse or a house full of arcades. They bring them all in there. And you just have rows of all these 80s and 90s arcade machines where you can go over and just play them like crazy. More stuff to do at Ozfest.
Well, I was thinking about doing either Donkey Kong,
There you go.
Pac-Man competition.
Yes.
Which one's better? I mean, which
Bill, we
one's-
can bring on like one of our Retron machines.
Oh.
I would do
some games.
I would do Pac-Man for hours. Oh.
Definitely.
You know what you should get? You should get the giant foot piano from Big.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. And let people just play chopsticks on the big foot
Yes.
piano.
But yeah, that's definitely the arcade idea. It's something I'm definitely still playing with. But that's
Get a Zoltar machine, huh?
Yeah, and, you see them actually all around sometimes. But yeah, that's cool from
Yeah.
from Big. That guy, I forget his name. The kid that played Tom Hanks as a kid with there. What's his name? But he's still around doing some movies. But yeah, I'm kind of game for anything. As far as people have ideas, shoot me an email.
Is there any last minute celebrities that we might be seeing that you're trying to wrap up?
There is one I have under contract.
Okay.
And waiting to put it out there. Corey Feldman.
Oh.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Look at Feldman.
Nice.
Wow.
Now, how's he doing after he
Wow.
tried to rebuild his music career recently, and
He's like that. Good Morning, was it Good Morning America? Is a little
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Will he be doing a live performance?
Nah. I mean, there's
Dude.
actually. It's funny you said live performance. I talked to a couple different guys. I actually had a deal cut with MC Hammer
Yeah.
to do a little autograph, and then he talked to his agent and went probably like 50 times more than we agreed to. A little bit above.
So what do you want? Like $50?
right.
Got Feldman here from
Corey, he's definitely one that I will nerd out for because he was like my idol when I was
Feldmania?
younger.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I wanted to be him so bad, and from
License-
Goonies and all that kind of stuff.
License
and
to Drive. Huh?
just seeing
Lost
him,
Boys.
all that Lost. Oh my god! And I still
I like
love
this picture. Right
I don't
here. It
care.
looks like a female.
I don't care all the the flubs he might do on TV and everything. I'm still like cheering that
What,
guy on. I think he's awesome, and the fact that he just doesn't care. He'll go out there
What
and
Friday
do whatever.
the 13th was?
Love
he in?
him.
Which one? I know he's in one of them. He's like a little kid in the one.
It'd be like the first.
If
one,
I get
probably.
to shake if I ever got to shake his hand, that'd be my moment.
I'll
That'd
make
be
it-
awesome.
Definitely, I'll make it happen.
Would you wear sunglasses with him?
Oh, I would. I would.
No, you'd have to wear the Michael Jackson getup,
Dude,
because that was his whole thing.
When, in Goonies, when he was Mouth, I was like, I want to be Mouth. I want to be him in this movie. Like, it was just so great.
Can you do the truffle shuffle?
Could I?
Yeah.
Could you
my
do it on
fat?
camera?
Yeah, right now.
Could you do it on camera?
A little self-conscious about that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Give me a few more of those Molson Canadians, and
Hey, we got more here.
We might see. the
Speaking
truffle
of that,
shuffle.
we are desperately trying to get Molson Canadian as one of
Molson.
our sponsors for the show. So if you guys are listening over there at Miller Coors, please.
They're part of the Miller Coors
Yes,
brand?
they are. I've
Oh,
been in
really?
contact with them.
Interesting.
I filled out a form and everything.
Well, we have
official
been-
documentation.
We have
has
been to
submitted.
Canada.
Yes, we've been to Canada a couple
so,
times.
I mean, this red leaf does mean a lot to
Yeah,
us.
so I think I came up with a new slogan while we were in the beer store.
Did you?
Molson Canadian for when you're American but feel like drinking like a Canuck. I like. I mean, it's a work in progress, but
right.
it's Canuck. Well, they have a team called the Canucks, so I guess that's okay. All right. Well, we got to get out of here.
Everybody go get your Ozfest tickets.
Yes, Eric. Where can our listeners find tickets for Ozfest?
Go to www.nosfest.com.
So simple.
And when is Ozfest?
It's April 8th and 9th.
My birthday.
Absolutely.
Mike's
It's
birthday.
Mike's birthday.
Woo!
Right? It's going to be 9 to 7 on Saturday, 9 to 6 on Sunday. Get there early, spend the whole day, eat, drink, meet some stars, spend some money. That's
gonna
what it's
be
all
cool.
about. It's everything you want in one day at one event. It's a
Nice.
con for the rest of us.
Dude, I'm so looking for it. And I'm telling everybody, any of my friends listening right now, that's my birthday party. You better come to Ozfest on April 8th.
We got
and
you.
come party with us.
We got you.
Because that's going to be my birthday celebration.
Cinescape will be there. Toxic Radio will be there. We're hoping that you are going to be there. Come check us out under the
Yes.
Toxic Radio tent. see all these cool 80s and 90s celebrities that are going to be there, get some autographs, drink some beers, have some food, and have some fun.
We will have the prize wheel there as
Yes,
well,
the
so you
prize
come over to
wheel,
the
yeah.
Toxic Tent and win some cool prizes. I'll make
Yeah.
sure it's all themed. We'll have some great movies to give
Yeah,
away
we're gonna help you guys out with some of these prizes. Eric Cohen, thank you so much for coming in.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys. Thank you very much.
For myself, Sean Harrigan, and for my partner, Bill Tozzi, we just wanted to thank you guys for watching and listening today. We will be back in 2 weeks. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.